Yo, good morning. Guido coming at you. Got my coffee. How you guys doing? No Pilgrim today. He is gallivanting. He's gallivanting across the countryside, and I think he's down at the Tank Museum and other environs. He's on a motorcycle trip with one of the bros. Sent me a picture of them trying to open up and figure out an MRE. So I sent them the picture to make sure that once they put the water in it, then they need to lean it on a rock or something. And if any of you have eaten the old style MREs, you will understand exactly what I just said. You must find a rock or something. The or something is the trick, really. I ate a lot of MREs in one sprint at one time. I guess it was more of a marathon. And I had to find a lot of or somethings. In fact, we made it a point that we always had to lean it on a new or something. You could not use the same or something. So we got creative towards the end. Good news is we were driving cross country in somebody else's country, so that allowed us to have a lot of or somethings. Good morning, Little Brute. What's happening? C Playa, Cliffy, Stickler, Wayne. Sorry about last week, fellas. Gator. I totally forgot. I woke up on Sunday morning in Pensacola at the boys' parents' weekend, and went, all right, I did not tell anyone. So that's when I went on to Discord and let you guys know, at least those of you who are on Discord. So apologies for anyone who went out of their way to see the show and I wasn't here. So there you go. I'm just a dumb person. Ham slice was your favorite? 160. Well, good news, Wayne. You don't need Christmas. You already got boxes. You're good. We've begun the Christmas season on September 19th or whenever those things came out. Spend your money as if it's Christmas. That's right. At least they're not nested boxes. Not that I really care one way or the other. Ham slice. I don't remember the ham slice. Was it just a chunk of ham in some strangely salty liquid, so to speak? No room service. I suppose I could have just turned on. I don't think I can do it from my phone, really, to be honest with you. I think you can set it up to do it from your phone, though. Amazon's getting as bad. They have Prime Day in October. Yeah. Yeah, we got boxes, fellas. We'll talk about it. I don't have any. Didn't have any to open for you, so I'm not even sure I'm going to buy any, to be honest with you. But there's probably 11,900 million videos about opening boxes. So if you're curious, you can probably watch somebody else do such things. Ham sliced crackers and cheese. Man, I don't necessarily remember that. I liked. You guys may shout me down here, but and I think it's because I ate so many of them. I eventually came to love Country Captain's Chicken. Is that what it was? Country Captain's Chicken. Remember that one? I was not a big fan of the Five Fingers of Death. That just hot dogs. Oh, see, Stickler knows what I'm talking about. They were that was delish. Country Captain's Chicken, and you put the hot sauce. Hopefully you get the. I don't remember if the hot sauce was standard in certain ones or it was just random. But if you had the hot sauce thing, you chuck that in there. Man, it was good. Like I said, though, I'd eaten a lot of them, so maybe I just needed something different. Opening boxes is. That's right. Omelet was okay, yeah. I like the omelet. That was a bit not bad. What was there? So we had Country Captain Chicken. We had an omelet, ham. Wasn't there a chicken a la king? There was a mac and cheese thing of some kind, wasn't there? There was. Was it spaghetti? I think there was a spaghetti type thing, some kind of pasta. I don't know what they have now. I haven't eaten one of those things in a long time. No idea. And I may not, unless I have to. And I hope I don't have to, because that would be bad. All right, what have I been doing? Let's see. Channel news. Working the 100 Battle Challenge. I have played this guy. I actually maxed out the points. Unfortunately, I wish you could do more points on the lower tiers. Have I talked about that? I think I did. Really, Chili Mac was good, yes. Really irritates me that they have a point limit for the lower tiers. I'm The more I think about it, the dumber I think that is. It's really irritating. But that's how they have it set up. So I've maxed this thing's points out, got my extra 15 points. Battle Pass, where am I on that? I don't know. Stage 31 on the first chapter. But this is actually really good. Washed him down with a blue ribbit. You can buy them at the commissary. Oh, that's great. So I've one marked this thing. We've played it 39 times. Got a 69% win rate. 959 experience average on a tier 6, which is pretty good. 2.96 damage, 3.25 destruction. The hit rate's pretty good, even with the derpiness of the gun, so you got to be careful with the gun. 58% battle survived. Average damage is 985, and average assist is 808. I have about 3. I don't know if there's any way to find out. I have 2 or 3 ace tankers. I think 3, but we're sitting at 73.65%. I like it. It's good. C plays on stage 50. I'm also getting close to finishing the WZ111 5A, which is okay. I think I'm 54%, 55% on that. Doing okay with that one. I like the Vickers. I'm at 80 something battles in the Vickers. This one's been a little tough recently. I'm down to 54%. Was higher. I don't know, it's a Leopard more or less, I guess. Maybe it's slightly less fast or maneuverable, maybe. But it's sort of the British Leopard. Fast reload though. Tier 11s. I only have one. I have the Borkin. That's in my list as well. So we're at 4 whole battles in that. 50%, 901 experience. Got 1900 average damage and 1600 average assist. But that's on 4 battles, so I'm not really sure where those numbers are going to pan out. That's a really low, really super low, essentially non-existent sample size. I have yet to be able to figure out. Well, I know how to use it, but I have yet to manage to use it in a game. Its magic power of teeing something up. But I've been teed up by one of them. Trying to think of what the map is. It's the one with the castle. It's got a big castle, a city right down the middle on the river, and then the hill on the other side, whatever that one's called. And I was crossing the field to go over to the castle, and I was a little bit too far north. I should have been further back, closer to all this stuff on all the trees and stuff. It was a medium though, so I didn't really expect to get spotted. So the other enemy Borkin came pretty close. In any event, I got spotted, and then he hit me with the magic power thing. So I was lit for a while, probably after I was dark. My little marker moving along. Yeah, not Ruinberg. No, the bigger one. The river down the middle with the city, all the buildings along the river. So I'm pretty sure I was dark, but I still got hit by the Artie because that little marker was moving along. So there's been a couple times. I think a couple other times I was shot in a bush, and because I'd just gone dark, and then came forward too soon. And again, it's hard to know if you were gone dark or not, but that's what it felt like. So I think I've had it used against me. Erlenberg, yeah, I think it was Erlenberg. I think that's it. I'll tell you the one magic power that you will notice, because it's very obvious, is the Herschen coffer thing, the Super Grill 15, Super Grill A, with the heated shell that auto pops the turret if you have 750 hit points or less. That one's an obvious one. You look here, because of course you get ammo racked, so that's one thing. And it's possible it's just a natural ammo rack anyway, but it's an auto ammo rack if they hit you with the heated shell and you have 750 hit points or less. Been sleeping in there, C-Player. That's all right. That's all right. That's why I put it on YouTube if you're interested at all to watch it. What's happening, Jimmy? So that magic power is super annoying. I haven't really. What does the KR1 do? I see a lot of those, but I don't really notice anything that it's just got. Other than it's got great armor. The Tessenrot. You notice the HE rounds for sure, especially if you're in a light tank or something trying to circle it, and it blasts you for another 600 damage with HE after it already pops you for another 5 or 6 or whatever its main gun is. German or Swedish tier 11. I have seen quite a few of the wedge tanks. I don't see them as anything other than a better, maybe, tier 10 wedge tank. So I don't know if there's a big update there. And again, this is off of seeing them a few times and looking at stats. They're a stickler. I haven't played any of them, so other than the PvE event where you play the 432U, the Tessenrot, and the whatever the one is that gets more accurate when you sit around and get artied, and the light tank, the Borken. So this is more just speculation on my part. I think probably the German one over that, unless you like the wedge tank gameplay. I mean, if you like the super stealthy wedge tank gameplay, it's just a better 103. It's got 4 more because it's a 107. You just add 4 to it. Yeah, the breaker seems pretty tough. That one, he's hard to circle because he can get the increased hull traverse, all that good stuff. And it's just tough. Doesn't really have many weak spots on the front. Lots of armor. Kind of a super Badger, which I guess is the idea of it, to be honest. I probably was, Cliffy, but it reduces any chance of a low roll. Say you're at 750 hit points. There's a possibility you can live. Plus your top pops off. So it just eliminates any possibility of a low roll. Which is essentially what the power does. I mean, it says it ammo racks and you blow up, but the actual truth of it is it eliminates any low rolls, provided it pens. It's not an auto pen either, so you could bounce that shot. I'm not in a big hurry either, Stickler. I did quickly get to the Borken because I just like light tanks, so I decided that'd be my first one. My 100 Battle Challenge right now isn't supporting it much. The WZ here doesn't have a tank above it, so that one won't get to a tier 11. At least I'm pretty sure it doesn't. I do have the can opener on my list of 100 Battle Challenge, and I'll probably go to that after the WZ, so that will naturally bring me to another tier 11. And then the Vickers doesn't go to a tier 11. At least I don't think it does. Is that right? No. So they've only got the British only have the Contriver and the Breaker. So I'd have to go back to the Badger. So any of these tanks that I don't have 100 battles on tier 10 wise, I will get there. Let's see, tier 10. Which ones do I have queued up here? 430U will get me there, so that's good. So that'll give me the 432. The can opener will get me there, and I think the BZ actually, right? Pretty sure that's right. The BZ will get me to, yes. So I will just, because of the 100 Battle Challenge, get to probably all those tanks. It took me about 100 battles for the RU to knock out my field mods and then to get the next tank. The other thing, and it's not something I thought about, but remember, once you do get to the tier 11, I mean, I have the Borken coffer, but it's not fully upgraded, right? There's a bunch of upgrades, and I might as well just look at these because I didn't look at them very closely once you get to the upgrades here, but kind of some odd ones here, to be honest with you. Yes, Cliffy, annoying if you're from 650 to, yeah, 100%. Good morning. Got 2 tier 11s. You got the Breaker and the 803. Well, what do you think of them there, Wayne? We'll look at the stats too, because the tier 11s aren't exactly burning the world down, to be honest with you. Yeah, the Borkenkoffer, it does have a lot of firepower for a light tank, and because it's a top tier now at 11, it can be played a lot like a medium, especially mid to late game. Plus, it's got the camo thing. Now, I saw a good video. I don't remember which one of them said it. Actually, I think it was a Jingles. I think it was a Jingles video. He looked at the stats, and it's the I think it has the worst camo of all the tier 10 light tanks. So it's not really that much camo. I think it's or maybe it's very close to the bottom. I don't know if it's the worst, but it's very close to the bottom. But these bonuses. So here's and these is like a little bonus to your vision and stuff. Although it's not really a bonus to the vision. It's just -3 to concealment of enemy vehicles behind foliage. So it's kind of its own CVS bonus. CVS bonus. -10 to ramming damage received. So these are kind of like equipment bonuses. +10 hit points to damage of all shells. What? Crazy. +20 crew protection. So that's sort of, what is it? The thing that helps you with the HE damage. Can't think of the word. Here's the bonus slot, and then you've got somewhere in here you've got the extra loadouts as well. +5% to concealment after firing. -20 damaged engine penalty. +5 shells. So this right here is very much a more modern, hero shooter upgrade path thing than we've seen. Initially when this game came out, it was just the tank, and you had a couple modules, so that was your upgrade situation. Then they added the field mods to higher tier stuff, so some different modifications. But those were kind of, you picked one or the other, and they had a negative. These have no negatives. This is just a pure upgrade to make the tank much better by the time you get done with it. As you can see, the first one is the suspension repair speed thing. Okay, great. It is a bunch, and I meant to add it up, but let's find out. 10, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. I'm doing this weird, aren't I? 100, 120, 130, 40, 60, 70, 80, 90, 210, 220, 230, 250, wow, 260, 270, 280, 90, 310, plus 23, 35? Is that the same amount as the tanks themselves? Did they just do it exactly the same? 335 sounds familiar, unless it was 325. 325. So I might have miscounted. It's 325 or 335, something like that. Basically, you're unlocking an 11 again to get all of your upgrades done. Oops, that's the wrong place. I'm still trying to figure out all of the UI ins and outs. Yeah, I would imagine that if they had a dream, that they would change the whole game to something like this. I don't think they can at this point, but it's all 2 clicks away, Cliffy. 2 clicks. To be fair, a good amount of it is 2 clicks away. I mean, I clicked once to get here, although that's not quite true. I had to right click to left click. Okay, so 3 clicks to get to overview. Yeah, it's not exactly 2 clicks, is it? Do you think it's less than it was? I don't think it really is less than it was. Is that because I'm unfamiliar with the UI, or I know we complained about it in the past on how many clicks it took to do things sometimes. I think it's less. I don't think it's 2 clicks, that's for sure. They may have made some things 2 clicks. It doesn't necessarily, to me, feel like it's much less. I don't hate this though. This is fine. There's really nothing that irritating here. I do absolutely love this situation right here. This is awesome. Being able to pick playlists and create playlists. How do I what does this mean? Import playlist. You guys done this one? That would infer that I can export a playlist. Is this something that's going to be tied into maybe like CCs making a favorite playlist and then players can download it, or event playlists, or things that are tied to a mission, a playlist for a mission or something like that? But I don't see there's no place here that I can see that says export a playlist. Don't know. Anybody read anything about that? I haven't seen anything about that. All right. So those are the tanks we're playing. I actually started another run on Baldur's Gate 3 just for giggles. I don't know how far I'll get. I sort of went through the intro and then was messing around in the first area of Act 1, and I kind of lost steam, so I may already be done with it, but we'll see. I never finished that game. I only got to Act 2. I never got to Act 3. I did read, actually, online that a lot of people never really got to Act 3 on it. All right. So, that being said, let's get into missions and specials, man. Doesn't really sound good, does it? That's been going for a long time now. I wonder how long I've had this. A good 8 years, I'd say, 7 or 8. That's pretty good. $5 sent to China, I'd say. You got a lot of use out of that. Try Icewind Dale. It's completable. The old one? I did the old one. You talking about the throwback one? Or do they have a new one? Missions and specials are on, fellas. Let's check it out. What do we got? We'll stay here first. Let's go over to... I haven't looked at the missions thing for a while. Let's see. Extra missions. What do we have? Key calibration. Oh, I got a key. Didn't know that. That's for the event that's going on. We'll get to that in a minute. 2.0 progress boost. That's ongoing. Goes to October 3rd. Memory Maker mission. This is... Well, that's weird. This was from... This was another event. Don't remember what event that was. Jack of all trades. Finished that a while ago. Watch Salute Reinforcements, got it. Battle Pass. Episode 1. Yeah, this is weird. So, that was last Battle Pass. So they let it go all the way to December 31st to finish it. Did this have Battle Pass points? No. That's weird. Does not appear to have any battle. I was wondering if you could do this on Battle Pass and then not finish. Well, then you wouldn't be playing. I don't know, whatever. I'm thinking too hard about it. ×3 crew XP. Well, there's a lot of missions that are just... That's wild. All right, regular missions. You know what? I still have not figured out this whole weekly, daily thing. I mean, these are the dailies. Here's the epic. This thing I haven't quite figured out. What I do know is that I am moving along on the campaigns. I haven't paid close attention to it, but I've cruised along okay. I've got 3 of the Vanguard, 5 of the Ambush, and 6 of the Assistance. Has anybody finished this yet? Anybody have the Windhund already? Cliffy dropped a link. What is this? Update 2.0. Create your own playlist. Got it. Create. Yep. Example. Wait, what? Playlist? Using a playlist code. Go to the vehicle, filters by parameters, create playlist. Place in the vehicle filter are sorted alphabetically while tanks inside. Alright, I'm missing something. That I don't understand that. After creating a playlist, you can share it using a playlist code. Sure. What code? What? Example code. Okay. I'm not tracking, man. I'm completely lost with what that means. What's the code? What is it? What you name your playlist? Nick Shocks was almost done with the entire campaign before he went on vacation. Oh my goodness. You're on 11 Vanguard and Ambush done. Nice. Battle Pass, Vault, vouchers, etc. Yep. Well, I've seen them. I've seen the Windhund. I've seen the Dravik. The Dravik actually is. Well, look at the stats. The Dravik has very good stats right now, but it's very good players. As does the Blackrock. Those 2 tanks are owned by good players, and they're doing really well. Mostly because good players are driving them. Yeah, the Dravik is the best. Yeah, I've seen a couple of reviews on the Blackrock saying it's not really all that, but apparently the Dravik's pretty good. I'm not tracking what that means about the playlist. I mean, I get it. You create a playlist. Playlists in the vehicle filter are sorted alphabetically. Fine. After creating a playlist, you can share it using a playlist code. What code? What the hell does that mean? Hold on, let's do this. All right, so we go here. I have a playlist. I have a dream. Let's do this. We'll go playlist. Tier 10, 100 battles. All right, great. Code. What's the code? Is this the code? What I named it? How do... What the hell are they talking about? I'm so confused. I mean, I understand what it's saying, but mechanically, how does that work? What is the code? Code. Does it show if you edit? Okay. Where's the edit? How do I edit it? Hold the name? Oh, thank you. Oh, wait. Is this it? There it is. That was difficult. Boom. What the hell? I wonder if these are all different, the different codes for the different tanks. Or if it's just a code for the file, I don't know. But anyway, all right, there you go. Wow. That was not very obvious to me, but I'm not very smart. So we can edit, or we can copy playlist. I'm gonna have to go take a knee. I'm gonna have to sit down for a minute, try to clear my head. The point, I think, Major Tom, it's, if you're one of the CCs and you want to do a video of my favorite tanks or the best tanks in World of Tanks, or these are the tanks you need to grind for credits, or these are the tanks that you need to think about because they're better than you think, and that kind of crap. I think that's what it's for. Although, if let's say you had a new player and they're like, hey, what tanks are good? What tank should I play to learn stuff? What tank should I play to learn the different classes or something like that? You could do a little playlist and then send it to them. You do, Kedge, and you get 4 boxes and 5 keys. 100%. Yeah, there you go, Cliffy. There's an idea. All right, cool. What else are we doing? Oh, we're doing... where am I on this? Zamkey, thanks, brother. How you been, man? You're better than Kedge. Impossible. I am on... Oh, I got 19 rewards to claim. Why do I have 19 rewards to claim? That's odd. Usually that's very obvious. Is there not a window when that happens? I guess not. I don't remember seeing a window that said, get your reward. Well. Look at that, fellers. How many of these do I have? Let's get one of them right there. Oh, I have 2 of them to get. That's something, because once again, we've established I'm not very smart. Just in case you're wondering with this reward thing for Battle Pass, you can actually select all the rewards on the same screen. Instead of doing it like I was doing, I would go like this, because I'm not smart, and then I'd have to watch that, and then I'd go here, and then get mad, because I'm at the same thing, like, how come I can't just select them all? You can. So, don't be me. Claim reward. So, for example, this was the most annoying one here, because there's so many of these. Also, you want to have at least 32 or 64. I don't know why I went to 60 on that one before I started on another one. Because remember, when you do the, what are they, the assembly shops, you can use some of your blueprints for that. So you want to have 32 is the minimum to get 1 point or percent. And you can do up to 64, I think, 2% per nation. So those are the cutoff points. That's what I tried to do, is get to 32 or, the 33. I wasn't able to get exactly a 32, but that's what I'm doing. I don't know why I went to 61 here. I don't know. Once again, we established I'm not very smart, so whatever. Woohoo! Look at this. I have 8 directives. I go through a lot of these right here. It actually lets you know how many you're getting as well. So I play a lot of scouts and I use this quite a bit, so in fact I may just plus that up. Goose and Damien. What? NH still has a CC. Yeah. Is that who's left? Goose and Damien? Oh yeah, Damien still streams all the time. Is this okay? Yeah, there's been quite the purge, actually. There's a lot of changes, Tom. Where I am with that, Tom, basically is basically I'm just playing the game, fellas. Oh, Brute, thanks. Oh, look at that, a hype train. It's hyping and it's training. Always City. I don't have an opinion on Eek. Don't most of us just turn the stream on and then mute the tab and move on? Sometimes I'll watch a little bit of it. I do wonder. He's very not necessarily negative, not exactly what I want to say, but he can be combative, which I find very interesting. You know, he really delighted in mocking NA and anyone with input opinion. Yeah, well, I mean, does that surprise you at all? They've never paid attention to NA, even when they pretended they were paying attention. There was definitely a good old days though, man. When they had the NA office, we had a good deal over here. We did. The NA folks and the CC program was fantastic. They were extremely open, but we were never able to grow it. So company has to make a decision. Yeah, yeah. Admitting to mistakes that is not this company's strong suit. That's very true. That's very true. I've always said that. I've always wished they'd been more honest with stuff, but here we is. Here we is. B. All right. So that's what's going on. I'm glad I learned some of that there on the Battle Pass. But let's roll over and look at the website. What do we got going on? As soon as I can click this thing correctly. Yeah, yeah. All right. Things for sale. What do you guys think? What's for sale? That's right. Boxes. Goodness gracious. Oh, right on. Much appreciated. Who was it? Oh, I missed it. Can't try. Oh, my goodness gracious. This is bad. All right. Whoever that was, I'll get to you in a second. I can't. My problem is I can't watch it. Actually, I can. Give me a second. I should have a list, like a checklist that tells me things I need to do to get set up for the stream. Would that be smart? Yeah. Hype train level 1, 93%. Oh, why is that not on there? Who just did that? That was weird. It's not on my list. Oh, I know why. I know why. Because bloody Streamlabs turned off my little dealios. You know what I mean? The dealios. Widgets, turn on. Oh, it's a new, oh my God. It's a new setup. Oh no. I don't know how to turn it on now. Alright, well that's enough of that. Thanks for changing the website. There it is, Kedge. There's a gift, thank you. They did, they moved the cheese on me. I'm in a complete tailspin right now. I'm in a flat spin out to sea. What the hell are we talking about? Oh yeah, that's right. Okay. Things you can buy. Featured. Boxes. We'll look at the percentages in a minute. Anybody buy boxes? Anybody buy boxes, and how did you do? Yeah, streaming's getting out of hand, man. I'm an old streamer. You got one tank? Zemke's been thinking about it. Jimmy got one tank. Out of how many boxes, Jimmy? Did you buy 75 or did you get lucky on a smaller amount? C Playa says no. Well, they're $152 for 150 or 80 bucks for 75. We'll look at the rest of them. There's a 25, once again, 50 box mechanic for a pity mechanic for a free tank. Not free tank, sorry. To get a tank, it's not free. You paid money. So 75 will get you a tank, and then it will entice you to buy another 25. Or you go, well, I'll just buy the 150 and get 3 tanks. For the Waffentrager event. Jimmy, the Waffentrager. Jimmy, you got it on 25 boxes. Nothing truly excites me in this one. So many new tanks. It's hard to keep track, Wayne. I mean, how do you play them all? Honestly. It's just, yeah. Purchase requiring a mailing address, not giving up private information. Wargaming can stick it. All right. Yeah. None of them looked interesting to me this time. Yeah, Borderlands 4, right? How is that? We got the boys. The boys are back. Man, how many times have they rolled out the boys with the T-42? A tank I didn't end up totally hating, but isn't that great. The crew's pretty good, though. That's the salute stuff. Premium selections are the Toro, which is a Tier 9. They're really getting into selling and doing Tier 9 stuff now. I mean, Tier 9 is almost the new Tier 8 in terms of the dropping of premiums. CS52C, that is on my 100 Battle Challenge list. It did recently get a update or a buff. It's still crap. And FCM 50T. I don't know what this thing brings to the table, guys. It's kind of fast. That's the best you can say. And you have to hit X to get kind of fast. And then you have crappy gun handling. I don't know. It's not like the gun is amazing. It's just fast. That's what it does. Hit X, go fast. Whee! There's no battle pass. Have there been any battle pass packages or bundles this time? I don't think so. There was the one where you could buy them all, right? That's it. Hype Train level 2. Look at that. Rocking it. No boxes for you, Kedge. Jimmy says the CS has to shoot gold. All right. It's crazy talk. Don't be insane. Vacation next week and I'm getting married. Major Tom drops the I'm getting married in chat. There's still time. No, I'm just kidding. I've been married, this was 30 years this year. 30 years. Goodness gracious. Married longer than I was unmarried at this point. Kedge is engaged to not be married. Excellent. What's the 100 tank challenge? Spitfire, that's a self-imposed challenge. I am attempting to get every tank in the game from tier 6 and above that I own to 100 battles. I'm pretty far along. The problem is Wargaming releases tanks so fast that I'm actually going backwards based on releases. But I'm also kind of looking at it now because I'm not a CC and I don't get every new tank or most of the new tanks. I'm sort of just ignoring a lot of the new tanks and just getting to 100 a lot of the tanks I have. What it's done, it's kind of made the game a little new for me because I'm playing tanks I wouldn't otherwise play, and unfortunately they tend to be crap because there's a reason I didn't play them. Not all of them, but some of them. So that's what I'm doing, just kind of spices things up. I'm actually done, minus the ELC 90. I've done all my tier 6s that I have, with the exception of that new release. So that is what I'm doing. And I'm actually done with the tier 7s now, I believe. I think I've nailed all the tier 7s. Hype chest. Oh, I got a hype chest. What does that do? Frog Wow emote. Boom. That's what I got. Frog Wow. Thanks, fellas. Much appreciated. I can just feel how rich I am now. It's amazing. Goose got 7 tanks in his EU account out of 200 boxes. Whoa. Well, there you go, C-Playa. All boxes, all 200 boxes give you 7 tanks. Everyone get out there and get into it. 51 years, Stickler. Congrats, man. Now that's something right there. I'm well closer to that than I ever thought I might be. I'll tell you that for nothing. All the choo-choos. Oh, thanks, O'Brute. Yep, he explained it as well. All right, what else? We're over here. Battle Pass gold, nothing really there. Wait a minute, where is... Oh, modules, that's what it's called, modules. They're called modules if you're looking for where it exists on the webpage. We saw those. The $5 or the 5 boxes are $6, and then we've got the 25 boxes for $28. 20 on your second marriage, you play. Very nice, very nice. Just treat it like the first one, man. Just pretend it's the first one. Easier to do if you don't have kids, actually. Probably really can't pretend that if you have kids from the first one. That's how I do it, because I didn't have kids from the first one. Practice makes perfect, yes. All right, so boxes, fellas. Boxes. What are you going to say? What are you going to say? It is what it is, B. What do you get in the boxes? That's the question. Well, I'll tell you. I think they have the stats here. Or did they not? I have a article with that information. No, I guess not. Here's what you can get. Oh, it does have the stats. It does have the percentages. So you will absolutely get one of these three things. 100, 250, 500 credits and books. You will get some personal reserves. One of them is the 50% credits, or a 1, 3, or 7 day. Obviously, the 7 day is a lower percentage than the 1 or 3. You have a 20% chance to get gold, which is a little bit different. I don't remember that actually happening in the recent past. It's either guaranteed gold or there was none. Do you remember any boxes recently that had a percentage chance? Not a percentage chance to get extra gold. Because usually, like the Christmas boxes, you get 250 or 100 or whatever it is guaranteed. And then you have a percentage chance for some extra. I don't remember boxes that didn't have gold and then had a percentage. But I could be wrong. Does anybody remember boxes like that? This seems a little wrinkle, a small twist. Let me know. I could be wrong. Oh, so that's 20% chance. And guess what? You're probably going to end up with one of these over here. And then the tanks. So there are 3 new tanks, 1 8 and 2 9s. The Vlkodov, or Vlkodov, the Sentinel. I don't know if I've seen one of these yet. I'm sure I have, but I don't necessarily remember. It's a double barrel. Sure, why not? Sentinel, I think, is an autoloader, right? 2 shots? Of course it is. And then the premium Czech with the super gun. That's right. Cost of these pixels is too damn high. This just reminded me of something. I just made a video. Hold on a second. I just made a video about the Grom, and I think I was wrong about something. So when you see it, no, I'm not wrong. It's Polish, and it's got the star shell, right? This, I know I just completely changed gears on you, but I'm trying to figure this. The Polish tanks are the ones with the extra damage close in. What do the Czech TDs have? Or are there no Czech TDs? What am I missing here? I'm losing it, fellas. I'm losing it. It's just, there's so much to keep track of these days in this daggum game. That's right. The Czechs don't have a line. They just have a premium. They have the Shrek. Okay, gotcha. The reason I'm saying that is that this is a new Czech. Okay, good. I was correct, even though I didn't know I was. Okay. Deep breath. This is all I have to say, fellas, all right? Okay. I don't know where that came from. One of my kids put that on my desk. For some reason I have that on my desk. I don't know why. Yes, the Czechs don't have a TD line, but they now have 3, or will now have 3 TD premium TDs, which is odd. All right. What else is in there? The term. The SFAC, which I don't have. WZ111 Model 6. DZT159. That's a 9. So 888. So 2 9s that have already been released, the 590 and the DZT. 3 8s that have been released, and the new 8 and 2 9s. There you go. And there's also the keys if you want to do the Waffentrager event. And I believe in the Waffentrager event, there's also the possibility to get a few boxes out of the progression on it. Who's playing that? Anybody enjoying it? You guys enjoying the Waffentrager event? It's not my favorite thing, man. It's sort of to me it's boring, to be honest with you. The boss battle thing, I just don't get. Gaming wise, it's not my bag, baby. I just don't care. I think the rewards are okay though. So we go to that article. That's the Paradox article, and it'll tell you what the rewards are. Here you go. So you've got some premium. There are 3,000 bonds. That's not bad. 1,000 components. You got 4 of these things. There are 3 boxes. I was correct. So there are 3 boxes available. I mean, honestly, it's free to play. You blast through these. You got 3 shots at a tier 8. Why not? You know, if you like the gameplay, go for it. And 3,000 bonds is nothing to scoff at. Plus, you can get battle pass points. That's nice. That's been combined, so that's good. You get 175 of those. That's good for 3.5 progressions, or 3.5 levels, I guess, whatever they're called, of a chapter. Yeah, grind. That's my problem with it. And it shows the rewards and what everything is. So what do we got here? We got the Vladkov, 390 damage. Is this a single shot? That's not much info on it. Wait a minute, what different tank. All right, Sentinel, 25 seconds for 2 shells. That's right. So the Vladkov, double barrel. All right, so it's got the double barrel, 2 390 double barrels, .38. 230 turret is not fantastic. Relatively fast at 50. -8 gun depression. So those are the salient pieces. Then we've got a 2-shot autoloader, man, is just not good for the game. 25 seconds. Don't like it very much. I don't know if the rest of the tank's very good. But 25 seconds to get 2 390s. Turret's not great. .45, so it's not quite as fast as the other one. -8 gun depression. And then we've got this thing is... Oh, is this not? Oh, it's a Czech, so it doesn't have star shell thing. 390 damage, that's not very high. So the Czech, other than the DBV being massive alpha, this appears to be closer to like a Shrek. Although not nearly as mobile, I guess. It only does 42. What's its armor? 165 with some angling. -8 gun depression. This looks like a fairly bog standard casemate TD of Soviet-esque design to me. Those are the 3 new ones. Right? The IS-7s are everywhere because I think everybody's trying to. Yeah, they're all trying to grinder to tier 11. They're trying to grinder. So I think based on the way they're playing, some of them are grindering. They're not grinding, they're grindering for sure. Oh right, it is gun cooling. That's true. I forgot about that part. It does have gun cooling. Did it not show? It didn't say anything about the stats of that, did it? Ah, there it is. See the .38 and the .27? Yep. Good catch. So gun cooling, that's its magic power. Goes down to .27. I mean, to be honest, that .38 is just atrocious for a TD. So you're almost forced to want to, unless you're close, to get down to 0.27. So you're going to sit around waiting for shots. But hey, when you're a what is it? You guys just a bush grindering, a bush gringer. You're going to sit there and throw water on your barrel. It makes it more accurate, don't you know? Sure. Sure it does. All right. And that's it for missions, I think, guys. Claim your gift. This has got to be close to being over. Mid-October, whatever that means. So it's not close to over. You still have a few weeks if for some reason. If you have any alternate accounts, make sure you log into them and get your gift. I took the new Japanese heavy line for my free tier. Haven't played it at all. Yes. That's right. It's just more tanks in the garage that I'm never going to play. The Type 5 is doing pretty well, apparently. We'll look at the stats on the new things here in a minute. We've been at it for about an hour, guys. I'm going to take a break because my coffee is about empty. I'm going to go fill that up. You guys do the same. Grab a drink, take a break. We'll be back in 5 minutes.
Guido is his name, tanking is his game. Guido. Guido is his name, tanking is his game. Guido. Now in the shadows came a mysterious chap who spoke in a tongue with strange dialect. He offered his help to the mighty Guido, to bring some laughter to his love of speedos. To the coffee talk they both came, to bring the message of winning ways to all and sundry and the masses. Yes, that's right, lads and lasses. The damage counts and flexing back will keep you on the right track. Guido is his name, tanking is his game. Guido. Guido is his name, tanking is his game. Guido. So in what? If you want to progress, then seek out Guido nonetheless. With his sidekick Pilgrim, he has a message that to win you must be aggressive. The position and place that you must seek, for the winners only, not the weak. The guru speaks, so listen well. His voice rings out like the Liberty Bell, to bring you all to Unicom land, or to die hard trying in the sand. Guido is his name, tanking is his game. Guido. Guido is his name, tanking is his game. Guido. To the swamplands came the mountain man, to teach his wisdom and pay his due. A man with a name only known to a few. To his followers his words are true. Guido is the man, big and gruff. He used to fly jets, but now he does the tanking stuff. Guido is his name, tanking is his game. Guido. Guido is his name, tanking is his game. Guido. The mountains are home where he watches the moose hummingbirds aplenty. But he saw the need for the Wat community to have a guru and lead them gently. Down the road to Unicom land will die, trying hard in the sand. Guido is his name, tanking is his game. Guido! Guido is his name, tanking is his game. Guido! So we broadcast his message far and wide, using YouTube, Twitch, and various means, to lead you to the promised land of WR, win 8 and damage counts, that a mortal man is only stuff of dreams. Win your flank and then go back, was his mantra for the pack, to which they shouted, yes, bossman, that we will. Win our flank and then flex back. Guido is his name, tanking is his game. Guido! Guido is his name, tanking is his game. Guido! Guido is his name, tanking is his game. Guido!
Okie dokie, we back. Japanese heavy line, played it. Yeah, I've seen a lot of the IS-7 platoon situation, people rushing different weird places with them. That seems to be a bit of an epidemic at this point. All right, subjects du jour, guys. Let's check it out. What do we got? We're kicking Pilgrim out so we can see. All right, there we go. What do we got? Well, we have the Saryuda. And a lot of ads from Best Buy. Saryuda Tier 9 Japanese TD. Sure. 500 damage. Predictable pen. Pretty high. 13-second reload. Oh, it's an autoloader. Great. Salvo. What? Oh, it's it's double barrel. Sure. Of course. Of course it is. Taurus Cat. Meow. The Taurus CAT. When I first saw this picture, I'm like, where's the gun? Surely it's not this little, this thing. Oh, there's a little stubby guy sticking out there. 320 shell damage. It's auto. Great. Yeah. Okay. Yep. You bet. 24 seconds for 4 shells? What? "24 seconds for 4 shells. That can't be real. Huh. What is this? Dispersion 100 meters with a little magic thing. It's quite unconventional, I'd say, for both its nation and type. Hydraulic suspension and the first vehicle with siege oh, of course. You might as well give it rockets. Why doesn't it have rockets? Give it warm shells that you heat up and it automatically ammo racks everything it hits. Why not? Yep, big dispersion unless it goes into siege mode. That's the difference here. Even in siege mode, it's not particularly accurate, and looks like it's a little bit more elevation. Probably with the requisite goofiness of the siege mode with extra elevation, where there's always the little thing going on. But it's 4 shells and 25-second reload, fellas. Now it's 2.5 between shells, so that's decently long. It will take you a while to send all those down range. So there are some negatives to it. Of course, it does 65. Sure, why not? No armor to speak of, so it's a, it's not a particular. It's not as wedgy, right? It's got a pretty big lower plate. Looks like this is highly sloped, but the lower plate is not. All right, well there you go. Waffentrager. This was interesting. Player comparison: Wargaming versus Lesta. So Wargaming went from 152 on EU to 286. NA doesn't have NA before. Wonder why. Asia, NA. RU 212, 210. Yesterday EU was 229. So how many did it? It retains some, but it's not nearly as many. It looks like it's going down. Wait a minute. Why does it say October 15th? Oh, it's just a typo. I think they meant September 15th. 14-day period. Yeah, that must just be a typo. So there's a bump. Looks like some maybe has fallen off already. But that's just yesterday. All right. So there was a bump. I think we all knew that. NA peak at 26. What are we sitting at now? Where is that? It's down here. 7,000, which is actually pretty good for a Sunday morning. It's usually less than that. So, like, you can have Saturday afternoons before prime time that are less than 7,000, and it's Sunday morning and we got 7,000. But we'll see. Mainly fly a little DCS so I have time to get on the PC and have some fun. Yeah. What airplane are you flying there, Major Tom? 14K at night, so that's a little higher, right? Could be for sure, because and it may have also incentivized older players to make a new account and get the free thing, and ooh, I'm gonna grind things again. I mean, that's kind of what I did. I did it for content, but at the same time, like, oh, it'll be new again and grind. But you don't really stick with it because eventually, you get a ways in the new account, and then you look at the old account and go, why am I wasting time in the new account? I have so many more options on the old account. That's kind of how. There you go, C-Playa, for example. I also made an EU account, but eventually I got tired of the ping. It just bothered me too much. It wasn't horribly bad, but it was worse than NA, and it just irritated me. 2.0 discussions on stream. Oh, I didn't see this. What do we got here? A Q&A. Well, let's tear apart a Q&A and act like we know everything. What do you guys think? Let's scoff everything he says and act like we know everything. All right, here we go. Let's do it. Now that 2.0 is live, how do you think it's gone? Do you think it's met expectations? I think it's even exceeded. Oh boy, sure. An overall level of happiness about 2.8 is really, really high. How do you know that? And we were really happy to release something that we have been working on for a long time, around 2 years. Wow, you worked on that for 2 years? What? It's really nice to show what we've been. You worked for 2 years on what was basically just a super patch. Okay. Can you share some of the numbers with us? How many players have been online? Are we seeing a lot new returning? Yes, mostly returning players and new players. 2.0 created a huge wave effect. Well, yeah, that's every patch kind of does that, especially big patches. A lot of sound and fury. Yeah. Noticing that the matchmaker is matching up new accounts in battle. You can tell by the elite award numbers are low, but it plays like there are good players with new accounts. Probably, yeah. Yep. Would not doubt that. I have seen one side effect of that, which I didn't really think about until I saw the video. And I don't think it's a massive problem, but there are people who are making new accounts, making troll accounts. And you do have some amount of people platooning in troll platoons until their account gets banned or whatever. Share some of the numbers, huge way to affect. The audience numbers are not really secret. You can see them in the game. Concurrent user EU reached a record number, 287,000 players, an all-time record. Previous was 40 to 50 lower. Well, at least he brought some numbers out. I don't know why he had to say you can see them in the game. Just answer the damn question. Is that like a side? Is that like a side-handed or a, what am I looking for? A backhanded? I don't know what I'm trying to say. Is that like an insult to the guy? You can see him in the game. Yeah, dude, I know I can see him in the game. Tell me, what are the numbers you're seeing? How difficult was it to keep the update a secret? I can't imagine how... I didn't realize it was 2 people answering here. It kind of changed. That was weird. I guess Eek is pitching in now. I can't imagine how challenging it was for you to not share with any players. Oh, Eek's asking the question. What is going on? Is Eek doing the interview? Hosted by Eeky. Okay, I got you. Now I'm understanding. Some of these questions are maybe from the audience. Okay. I suppose that's what's going on. I can't imagine how challenging it was for you not to share with any players. No, it was pretty easy since it was my job. It was very funny because we couldn't guarantee for ourselves that we would keep it a secret for the time, but we managed to. They did pretty good with the secret, to be honest with you. Which, of course, illustrates my point about, leaks and real leaks and planned leaks and all that, official leaks and all that crap. There was some leaks, and our publishing team heroically tried to cover all the leaks. They're the heroes we needed, fellas. They are. What a weird word. I wonder if that's a translation thing. It was mostly just before the release. There were no major leaks before, except for, well, I don't know. What was leaked? Right. That's what I'm saying, translation issue. What was leaked? I don't actually, I don't know. I don't know. Eek might know, I don't know. What was leaked? Why would it matter if he said it? We were really happy, the development team, to read feedback. Was it the tier 11 thing, maybe? Because I did hear something about that. Such a big positive vibe. There was not such a big positive vibe in the community for a long time. That's true. Good point. We'll see, Tom. Well, nothing's really changed in the way people play the game. We got a lot of new shiny toys, and that's great. Some things were buffed in terms of tech tree tanks, but none of the problematic tanks were nerfed. So really, we're in the same situation with just a tier 11 crust over the top of it. But it's a lot of new stuff, and people do enjoy learning new stuff. So I would say for the next 6 months, people are going to be relatively happy with what's going on. Just to throw a number out my arse. Who was the first person to legitimately unlock BlackRock? Dak Hilzart. Nice. There are already several others who managed to go through this in a marathon and were able to reach BlackRock, but all of them are really high-skilled players, hence the current crazy statistics. Yeah, absolutely. We'll look at that. The statistics are massive, are insane on the BlackRock. World of Warships had Tier 11 for at least a year now, so it's going to make it the tanks eventually. Sure. They're called super ships and are pretty well balanced. Okay. That's true, Obandu. Yep. Yep. Because they have a limit of 5, so that's the most you can see, and it's almost always 4 to 5. But I will agree with you. I have seen more games with less TDs, lots of heavy tanks for sure. And I think if you're a mediocre player, and I don't know, do we have any TD players? Have you noticed a problem getting into games trying to play with your TDs? I do. That doesn't sound right at all, does it? Playing that class of tank, I have not seen any problem getting into games if I play the Grom or some of the other TDs that I have. So, it doesn't seem to be an issue. Will a new player use cash to extend the premium time after the gifted time is gone? Good question. Good question. You know, because at this also, you know, you bring a new player, you entice a new player to get all the way to tier 10, and that's okay. It gives them every tier to play, but they're going to get, especially if they are an actual new player, they're going to get wiped out. And they're probably going to get tired of getting crushed constantly. And then then they're going to look at how much the game costs. They're going to look at, there's premium, there's Watt Plus, there's Battle Pass, there's Premium Battle Pass or whatever it is. You know, there's a ton of money that you can kick out if you're a brand new player coming into it right now. The outlay is quite a bit, actually, if you want to be on the same footing with the grind and the time and all that as everybody else. I don't know how many of those people would stick around after that. You're gonna look at that and go, wow, this is crazy. They're really trying to soak me here. Yeah, I'm showing 7,503 and 500 over on South America. Yeah, so we'll see. First person was Dacky. All right, cool. Good on him. How does the balanced economy look for Tier 11? The economy is expectedly stable. Okay. I don't even know what the hell that means. What do you mean, the economy? Just silver, or like, what are they talking about? Course 2.0 created huge effects. Right now, the matchmaker proportion of players between different tiers is totally different. Really, really hard to tell for certain what some numbers, facts will look like. The ground is not stable. That's true. It's evolving. Despite big changes, there is nothing major that we need to fix. Okay. Maybe in terms of the new stuff, they're happy with it. We'll give that benefit of the doubt. Economy for Tier 11 is very close to 10. I haven't paid attention to it. I don't know what it looks like. You know, if you're not a very good player, Tier 10 can be brutal economy-wise, especially if you're not running premium and you're not running reserves. If you're not running premium and reserves, you're losing probably cash. You're losing silver. Performance-wise, everything going well. Vehicle popularity, general stats. Yes, we already have more than 300 people unlocked at Tier 11. Most of them unlocked 1 tank. Some of them unlocked 2, and a very small amount unlocked more than 2. Press manually, not spending free XP. We know the popularity of the tanks. We know the KR1 is the most popular. All right, that's interesting. That's true because that's the one that has the most battles. The other point, the Tank Academy, which is good, crutch to advance for new accounts, but is limited. That's true. There are some things you can do with a new account to kind of ease your way into it and make some cash for sure. And I think the onboarding and the initial experience is pretty decent in the game. It's better than it has been for sure. It's as good as it's been, I would say, or the best it's been. But what I'm talking about is if you're brand new and you have now this Tier 10, yeah, you could probably equip it based on the things you're talking about and the onboarding and the stuff you can make early on in the game. But now you got this tier 10 that's all equipped, maybe not a great crew in it, and you really don't know what you're doing. You're going to drive around tier 10 getting absolutely annihilated. And you've seen these guys in the games. My only issue with that, and I'm not saying stop it, I'm just commenting on the passing scene here. How many of those people are going to look at that and go, this is not for me. I get crushed all the time. I don't want to put the time into it. All right. KR1's most popular. 803 is popular. Taschenrat. Top 3 now are heavy tanks, which was not so common previously. Leopard and Hirschkoffer, which are connected to the 2 most popular, are still in the top 5. BZ-79 is close. Okay, so come on. Yes, we know. We see some of the tanks are a bit higher. I don't see any balance issues with it. We'll look at it in a minute. I would agree with that. It right now, stats wise, and again, we need time to develop. The meta will develop in the tanks. People will learn how to use the particular powers in the tanks. There will be clear leaders and trailers, and maybe one eventually. If we start to figure things out on it, people will start to do better in them. We'll see. But right now, the numbers are pretty average. Although, all right, he's already said a wave of rebalances is planned. Interesting. Future. So started attrition balance packs. Waves. A good shape for 2 on the ground is not really okay. The heavy tank has its full armor at the beginning, which could be enough to make really good performance at the beginning, but some of the tanks, like sniper tanks, need to level up the progression to be most effective. Okay. That's kind of true. I mean, if you're talking about the KR1 and the Taschenrat, that their primary capability of armor exists from the very beginning, and then all of their bonuses add up to it. Some of the other tanks, you really need to do the bonuses, the field mods or whatever the hell they're called, upgrades, for them to really shine, I would say. 10 autoloaders not working. The project was... Most tanks are not full 11. You can see the data, but you understand 10% of the tanks could be fully leveled. That's true. That's true. Just because 11's unlocked doesn't mean it's been completely leveled up. So there's a lot of stuff. A lot of grinding to do to get there. That's what I just said here, right there. They call them bloggers. That's the word they use. But CCs, create content creators, etc. Same thing. Other big impact players can reimagine, the way these mechanics will be used, the best possible strategy, and then it will start to be shared, and then you'll see, that's what I said. We'll see what happens with that meta-wise. This is all just the same words here. Plan was not to punish the tier 10s and 9s. I know it wasn't your plan, but of course you're going to do that because you have a higher tier. That's just natural. But that's how the game is built, so that's the way it goes. Tier 11, yeah. Just a lot of words. Some interesting changes. The popularity, you guys just noted that. Popularity of heavy tanks was increased, especially for the first few days. 30% more heavy tanks right now in the matchmaker. I think there's probably, if people look at all the tier 11s, you're a player and you're like, all right, which one of these am I going to get first? And most players are average. You're probably going to go get a couple of the heavies first, right? So there may be a little bit of an artificial, what am I going to get first sort of push in here initially. We'll see after a year which ones become most popular as everyone starts to unlock more and more of them, and then they start to play the popular ones because they watch other people do well in them or whatever, the meta starts to develop. So that's probably going to happen. 15% less artillery and 30% more heavy tanks. Heavy tanks and medium tanks are what we consider meta foundation and World of Tanks. Yeah, there you go. We have an organically smaller amount of light tanks and tank. You do, but you have more people playing tank destroyers. So you certainly have more people playing tank destroyer gameplay, which is hide in the back and sit in a bush. I've run into a battle where there are 10 to 8 heavies on each side, as have I. Nothing special. There's a lot of heavies going on. We already have a plan for all tanks. Tier 11s. Bigger amount of heavy tanks and medium tanks. Some light tanks and destroyers. But yes, the next releases of Tier 11, the amount of heavy tanks and medium tanks will be a bit higher. Right. Yeah, people are complaining about the Hirschkoffer and the Leopard 120 being kind of weak. What is making the top 5 tanks most popular? Well, kind of what we already talked about. They're heavies and they have a lot of armor. Relatively easy to play. Popular because of the changes. Concern about abilities. Right now it's really hard to measure the ability outside of the tank. Yeah, okay. That was company line. The beginning was not a very popular tank for the T-803. When players started to brawl with the tank, and since it's the next version, but without the huge cupola, the new idea which tries to make small peculiarity of the tank, aggressive, yada yada at some point. Yeah, that's true. Taschenrad, pretty hard to measure. It's just the super heavy armor revival, yada yada. That thing, that HE round cannot be underestimated on that tank, man. I know its flexibility in the game and its ability to move around is very slow, but in terms of taking things out, that's a shutdown tank for sure. Type 5 looks really powerful. We're looking at it. Enjoy it while you can, guys. They just can't. You're not going to get the Type 5 right. Honestly, it's either going to be overpowered or garbage, just based on the way it's built. It's about armor, and if you make the armor useful enough, then it's overpowered. That's just the bottom line. Ammunition. Ammunition compensation. Yes, there will be one-time compensation for players who are affected by the ammo getting removed. Ah, okay, fellas. There you go. That's a good tidbit. Theoretically, you're going to get compensation. I'll show you what I mean by this. I actually talk about it in one of the videos coming up. If you look at my tier 9s, for example, I'm just going to filter for tier 9s. Look at the number of tanks with ammo incomplete. And I think crew incomplete takes precedence. No, actually that has ammo. Never mind. But I have a lot of ammo incomplete tanks here. So for example, the 3805. If I go here, this is a bad example. So it's going to cost me a little bit to get this loadout that I had. See, this is what's weird, fellas. Maybe is it if they changed the gun, the ammo's, I think it's if they changed the gun, all the ammo's gone. But if they change just the shell, that shell's removed. It's really weird. It's different for each situation. But I think the 10 million is overcome by if you have a lot of tanks. Like they gave everybody 10 million, but I have 700 something tanks. So with all the changes, I think I came out behind if I was to reload everything. I'm ahead because all those tanks are sitting there, and I'm probably not going to play. A lot of those tanks I'll never play again, more than likely, and never have to reload them, to be honest with you. So it doesn't necessarily affect me that much. It's just irritating that they didn't think of it to come up with some plan. And now they're in catch-up mode, which is just typical. And I don't know, fellas. Maybe that's just not something. Is that something you'd have missed? Maybe I would have missed it. Maybe if I was the project guy on this, maybe they just thought they could chuck 10 million and people would forget about it. It's very possible they talked about it and they're like, give them 10 million and maybe they won't squawk. And then the plan could have very well been, we'll give them all 10 million. If people squawk, we'll figure something out. Who knows? Maybe they missed it completely. I don't know. I did get a medal. That's another thing, that not getting any compensation of any kind just because I'd unlocked every tank. I get a medal. You're giving people an entire line, 10 million worth of tanks or more than that. And somebody who unlocked everything, you're giving them a medal. Okay, got it. Again, I don't deserve anything. I don't care. Personally, for me, I care enough to talk about it. Obviously, I care. But what's going on here? Get out of here. Get me out of here. All right. But we'll talk about it, obviously, because we're doing. We're talking about World of Tanks. I just think it's an unforced error. Yeah, give me a loot box. That would be good. Oh, so Cliffy, is that it? Really? That's awesome. So there's another category. People who unlocked everything and also did not get a medal. See what I'm saying? They just don't think about these things. I think I would be even more irritated if I had that situation going on. Garage UI, hot topic. We had a very big amount of features we need to implement. It was very hard to do with the old structure and technology. Sure. We need to make the interface more convenient. Yep, sure. The technology moving away from scale form flash. No idea what that means. Some of you may. Old interfaces are made on scale form using Adobe Flash, which Adobe stopped supporting 5 years. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's no good. Outdated technology was stopped. Yeah. Ooh. That makes sense. Garage interface. Right now, game face, which is kind of popular. Kind of popular? We got a mediocre sort of popular thing, and then we use that. I think what he means is it's popular. If he's saying then a huge amount of games use it. Lots of Flash elements currently in the game, and gradually we'll work on replacing them. I don't know what that means. We want to bring new functionality. Yeah, absolutely. Why did we pick this layout? Main direction was core cell principle, evolution, not revolution. Okay, this is all just mumbo jumbo, developer mumbo jumbo. Look, they wanted to make it better. I get it. Good. I think they did, really. If they, it's a little jarring still that if you go to other, well, you don't see my screen now, but you go to some of the other menus and then the old version kind of pops up. You're like, oh, that doesn't really match the vibe of the first screen, but they said they're going to iteratively work on it. So we'll see. Hopefully they knock that stuff out. You're able to get the M60s out of Hawk and load out improved bond equipment. Nice. There you go. All right. Big list. It should all be inside critical. We had a big list. Like to understand this tank is a different type of gun previously. Yeah, I do actually like, if you go over here, talked about it. I very much enjoy this. I always forget how to get there. I think it's here. Yeah. About vehicle. This is a good screen. This has all more or less the info you want. I think they can make this penetration thing better by allowing you to change or use different guns or something so you can get kind of what your chances of penetration are. I don't really understand why they didn't do that. But then you've got whatever special power or things is described up here on how it works, and you've got the historical reference. So I think that's actually not a bad page. And that's what he's talking about here. The playlists. What are some of the planned improvements, quality of life planned? We're looking at checking comments, yes, blah, blah, blah. Like the brightness of the text, okay. Work on the interface, yada yada. No details. Nothing. Great. Thanks. That was useless. You won't have to wait really long. Some of the upcoming patches. Okay, great. Fast one-click access to some functions. Yep. Ability to navigate your collection. Sure. Even the battle button and the post-battle screen. We had this design from the start, but it was hard for us to bring 2.0 due to tech. What does that mean? So maybe they're going to change the post-battle screen? Will not take a year. They'll be pretty soon. Planned playlists Armor Inspector. All right. Second update for Armor Inspector. All right, good. Course, basic functionality, and third, yes, they're talking about exactly what we're talking about. Bring some of them into the game. Okay, good. So they're looking at that. Maybe they can get closer to the third-party sites. Playlists to support all big activities, some specific cases like game modes. I like that. Yeah, so if you get a game mode, you just click on that. Okay, matchmaker. It works. It's almost like we weren't sure, but it works. Great. Good. Rewrote the core matchmaker. Wait time's good. Audience search helps, true. Okay, nothing big there. No information really. Super. This is a lot of info here. Increased +1, -1 battles. Yeah. Think something we already discussed. More heavy tanks. Yeah, we talked about that. I still don't have wait time, so I don't. Every time they say this, other than really low population times, I just, and you know, if you're trying to play tier 4 early Monday morning, you may not get a game, or you're going to wait a long time. But tier 6 to 10 and 11, I don't wait very long at all, so I'm not really sure what that's all about. They talk about it constantly. Does anybody else have long queue times other than what I was just talking about, low population density times and lower tiers, which if you don't have the players, you're not going to create games. But so I get that, but in a decent, even with just 7,000 players on NA, I don't wait. 121, really? I don't know if I've ever waited 121 to get in a tier 8 battle. Are you trying to get into the battle with a TD? 30 seconds is a long time. I mean, maybe if you're trying to get an Artie or a T. Artie I get. Artie will make you wait, but I know that going in. +1, -1 works better on high density. Absolutely, nothing special, 100%. Wheeled tanks, I would buy that. But again, I don't think... You really, in my opinion, you can't. You can if you want, but there's no mystery to why low population density is going to make you wait for a game. But I don't think they're trying to build a matchmaker to be efficient for a low population density. This is all based on EU, where there's plenty of people. So if you're on EU, I still don't see a wait time really being I don't get it. They talk about I just don't understand why they talk about it that much. I don't think. Have you ever gone on Reddit, other than again the known cases of maybe artillery or low population density, low tier stuff? Have you ever gone on Reddit and somebody going, man, I'm just waiting too long to get my tier 8 into battle. It's really pissing me off. I don't think so. I want it now, man. Steamrolls can and may still happen. Are we seeing a reduction? It was not the focus. Of course, it wasn't, because it's a base gameplay problem based on your acceleration of alpha and burst damage. So yes, it was not. In fact, it was made worse by the patch, frankly. This is not the end of Matchmaker. That has nothing to do with Matchmaker. Matchmaker can only put in the tanks that you put in the game. You know what I mean? So it's not going to happen. You keep putting double barrels and 2-shot 25-second autoloaders and 4-shot wedge tanks and Barasks and all that stuff in the game. It just, people lose hit points too fast. Anyway, wow. Oh, Matchmaker isn't the only cause potentially of steamroll battles. We're looking at it. Oh, I don't claim to know a whole bunch specifically. A lot of my ideas on this game are opinions, but that is 100% correct. The burst damage potential, the damage potential in the game has accelerated over time, and that is why you have, it's always been why you would have steamroll battles, but it was less of a problem and happened a bit slower when you only had cyclical guns. But it's still a baked-in part of the game based on no HP recoup and no respawns. It's just how this game is going to go. But it gets worse when you increase the burst damage and the alpha and the accuracy and everything else and the speed of the game. Why don't we keep adding more and more maps? Great question. The story started a few years ago. Okay. We were delivering around one map in a year, which is slow. Very slow. And there was a very interesting situation. Every new map we brought with the players was always the biggest downvote from the audience. All right, I see a glass half full, half empty here. The way I would look at that and go, look, every time we bring out a map, people hate it. So, we're going to bring out a map every about 3 months, and then that map will be the most hated, and they'll move on from the other one. We'll just overwhelm them with maps. See what? There's fun with stats. Fun with stats. Probably, Cliffy, a significant amount of people who don't know the meta or how to play it. Absolutely. I don't care for the new map right now because I don't know what to do. I keep getting ganked. But eventually you'll play it enough and you'll start to figure out. Watch a video because the smart guys will learn it quickly and they'll start showing you how to play it. All that good stuff. That is a dumb reason. Also, I don't think there's any expectation. In fact, there can be no expectation unless you create a mirror image map. There's no expectation or realistic probability of a new map being balanced. There just isn't. You can test it all day long until you release it into the wild, away from your super testers, who are not sometimes, the top players out there. Until you release it, you can't know. And then it's your job to iteratively update it. That's their problem, in my opinion. The problem is they don't update the maps fast enough. They're very reluctant to update maps and change them. And then when they do these great big sweeping changes, which essentially creates new maps. And because it can't be tested well, we have new problems. And we've seen that multiple times. It was snowy in Recon, yeah. Similar. The big rocket thing, I don't believe, was there. The big rocket fighting area was just a flat field out on that side of the map. The east side of the map, I think. So this became the question to find out what are the reasons. Because we have more than 40 maps, we don't know. We don't want to just add a map for the sake of adding something new, regardless of how good. All right, that is the dumbest The dumbest. This. Because we have more than 40 maps, we don't want to just add a map for the sake of adding something new, regardless of how good it is. Our goal is to make players happy, to give them new, fresh, and interesting experiences. Oh, this is fantastic. Right now we have one new map released. We have a battle rating system. You can rate the battle, and we can use this tool to understand what maps are rated a bit higher or a bit lower. Do they really think the battle rating system is giving them any kind of really useful data on maps? Are they just applying the battle rating system to whatever subject they want it to be important to at the time? We looked at the battle data, or the battle rating system, and it looks like our matchmaker's doing great. We looked at the battle rating data, and it looks like tank balance is pretty good. We looked at the battle rating data, and it looks like our maps are doing okay. We looked at the battle data information, and we're pretty sure people are happy with the battle report cards. That is amazing, actually. That is amazing. Huh. Well, I guess we have a kind of an idea of the what would you call it? Is it culture or the company's kind of idea on maps and why we don't have new ones? I would have never in a million years come up with that. I don't think I could have ever come up. We just want to do it just for the sake of adding something new. It doesn't matter how good it or bad it is. Every new map we brought was always the biggest downvote, so we just said, F it, we're not making maps. That is the fourth vote, Cliffy. That is the fourth vote. And I almost never click on that because I don't care. That's not true. I do care. First of all, I don't think about it very much. And I'm going to be honest with you. When I get out of the battle, let's all be honest. When you get out of the battle, are you more likely to give a thumbs up if it went well for you? I will admit that that is true for me. It would take me a little while if I was trying to be perfectly honest about the entirety of that battle, as in, what a matchmaker looked like, how my gaming experience was, how I thought it worked in the ecosystem of World of Tanks. It would take me a while to sit there to give an honest answer, and then it would always be flavored by whether I did well or not. Oh, Brute gives a thumbs down every plus or minus 2. See, everyone has their own criteria. It's like I do Untapped, the beer ranking thing. And we sit around and drink stupid IPAs and sours and weird beers and good beers and crappy beers. And we all rank them. And the question always becomes, what is your ranking system? You look at it and you've got a 4-star out of 5 beer. And you probably think that's pretty good, but maybe you don't like that style. So you give it a low rank. I see sours with 4s and higher rankings, and I don't give it a good score. I don't like sours. So there you go. Winterlander gives blowouts a thumbs down. Terry tries to rate it fairly. Whatever that is in your brain, all right? So there's going to be some things that are primary for you that make it a fair rating. Free beer, thumbs up. Fantastic. We can all agree on that. This is a little bit jarring to me, to be honest with you. It's stupid. It's dumb. Wow. And this does make sense in terms of, it doesn't make sense to me in terms of being a good strategy. It's a shit strategy, frankly. But it does make sense in terms of timing, because remember, it was a couple years ago that they did all of the recon mission things, and then we didn't really get much out of those. And we've been noting that the release of maps, they went a year or two without releasing one, right? But now that makes sense, their reasoning why, even though their reasoning is idiotic. So what's the fix? You release maps, you do your best, you make a map, you balance it, you do it faster. And when I say balance, I mean you're working on the balance. You're never ever going to balance a map perfectly, but we do have some maps that are pretty decent. And it takes time for them to get the data and for the meta to work out on a map. But who cares? So what if it's imbalanced when it first came out? Then start working on the balance. And then release another one and start work. You know what I mean? They just leave everything for so long. That's true, Cliffy. People keep playing. 100% you need data. I'm not scoffing that in any way. And that's why I understand it does take time. But we have maps that have had problems for years and they didn't get touched. I will give them this. They have attempted recently to work on the maps. In a couple cases, they borked it. In a couple cases, they made them better. I'm actually not necessarily that bothered by borking it if it's a constant iterative thing and they're willing to get in there and try to work on it later. It makes it, at least it makes it an interesting map again, where you have to start learning things. Like Airfield, I don't love it. I didn't love the one before. It's certainly different. It is bigger and I think a little more free-flowing than the first one. In fact, it's very much more free-flowing, especially if you win that kind of flat area that's not where the heavy brawl is. You can really turn the tide by coming around behind the enemy team on that one. So that's great, because that was not really possible with winning when it was the hill in the middle. It was not really possible to push back there because it was just too easy to defend that. But now it's a bigger map, a little more free-flowing. They spread the tanks out a little bit more other than the heavy brawl area. So honestly, if I'm being fair, it's better. I know people don't necessarily like it, but I think it's better than it was. And I do like the small changes they've done on some maps recently. Sometimes I think it's a little too much, but on occasion they do some smaller updates, and I think that's the way to go. All right, enough about maps. We would like to add more maps, but we would not like to do it in a very old school way. Well, you're wrong. Well, okay, so we're going to beat the map thing to death because they're still talking about it. What makes a new map a good map? Okay, sure. The player experience. Yeah, true. If the map brings some interesting new environment, new challenges, new strategy, and the players are happy. Well, I don't think you're going to do much on the strategy front. The game, the way it's played is kind of the basic game meta is there. You can work around it, but that's new strategy. Well, new strategy in terms of it's a different map and way to go about it, but it's the same stuff. It's TD spots for light tanks to spot, heavy brawling areas, that kind of stuff. And you can take the map and you can make it lean towards the heavy meta, or you can make it lean towards the scout meta, and maybe something in between. That's the strategy you're working with. Just new maps, guys. Different things to look at, different places to go. I mean, it's not that hard. But what is complicated work? I like how he's kind of getting at him about the maps. Right now, you cannot answer what is the absolute like. Let's take Proc for example. This map will be very high in our ratio because less classes hate this map, not because they super love. Bullshit. This is the best map in the game, man. Top 3 artillery, hold down heavy tanks, sniper tanks, light tanks, but yes. Himmelsdorf could be top 3 for some heavy, but it would be... That's true. And again, we've talked about this. That doesn't bother me that there's a Himmelsdorf that's all about heavy tanks, and there's a Proc that's all about vision, light tanks, snipers, stuff like that. I like that that's in the game. And even trying to work in between. No problem with that. Hurting high tier bots when low player population is logged in. Alright, O'Brute, take care, man. Fly safe, brother. Why don't we introduce old maps without... What about future plans? The Chinese map is one of the most problematic maps, but when we are trying to bring the variations map to rework it drastically at Super Test, the feedback you can hear from the audience is this iteration is a good one, but no, do not remove the old one because I really like the part of the map for it. Do you guys think that maybe their reliance on Super Test is screwing them? Or at least the people in Super Test? Are they the baddies? I don't know. That's... There was no map that was removed, which was not really problematic from a level design. When put one of the old maps in Super Test Swamp and we made several changes, the feedback was not really high. I think they're listening to the wrong people. I think they're listening to the wrong people, fellas. Or maybe not listening to enough people is a better way to put it. Also, I don't get this statement. Where is it? Yeah, that's the remove line you said. Reading that, one thing I don't really understand is they get into this idea, they say, oh, swamp, well, there's nothing we can do about it. Well, dude, it's change as much as you want. You know what I mean? It's just, you just put stuff places and make a map. I don't really get that. Five games as a tester, drove a total of 50 meters in all 50 games before being team killed by... See, that's right. That's right. Yeah, I think their reliance on Super Test to give them any kind of real data about what people think is... If you're relying on Super Test, how do I want to articulate this? I think if you're relying on Super Test to give you meta data about how things are going to be liked or accepted, you've made a grave error. Super Test, in my opinion, is for some of that as a general opinion, but also just to make sure all the mechanics and things work. If you're relying on the Super Test players to talk about the meta, though, or the possibility of like or dislike from the player base, I think you've made a grave error. Well, what I'm saying, Jimmy, is the ultimate test is releasing it into the wild. Well, he said Super Test, but I don't know. And we haven't seen a common test for a while, have we? 2.0 didn't have a common test. In common test, I don't think there's been an example of a map released to common test that it was ever not released or changed. Correct me if I'm wrong, and maybe there's a couple one-offs, but I think in general, when things go to common test, that it doesn't change. Occasionally they'll change stats on tanks, because I think they're getting enough data from actual players in a common test. So I believe that happens. And they super test definitely they change stats on tanks, but I don't remember anything once it goes to common test. There's not much change in common test. I think they're just trying to see if anything's completely broken. So they'll fix bugs and things that aren't actually working correctly. But in terms of changing, well, it's very limited in terms of players. Yeah, Swamp was... I don't remember which one was Swamp. There was two of them that had kind of a swamp in the middle. One was called Swamp, and the other one was... There was another even swampier swamp. Or maybe that was the same map and it got changed because they added the castle to it. Is that right? There's a castle in the corner, I think. And a swampy bit in the middle. I would just much rather see them release more tanks. Not more tanks, more maps. Figure out a way to release more maps. That's the bottom line for me. All right, well, that was a lot of data right there, so it's worth reading if you want to look into it. We saw the drop. So speaking of maps, so all that is said, and then they're doing a Nebelberg rework, which is in Super Test. And what they're doing here, guys, is they're making it smaller. They're making it smaller. They're going to change it from 1400 to... I would love to see this released with just standard 15v15. Just to see what would happen. How fun would it be to have a 15v15 in this big old map? But they're going to change it. They're going to make it smaller. There was apparently some kind of removed... It was either a 3D thing, but there were some side skirt things that would deploy or something on the 107. Because this thing can be penned from the side pretty easily. But it didn't make it. Let's look at the stats. Last thing before we get out of here. See what we got stats-wise, fellas. So, win rate overall, we're going to go recent 30 days. Got something. There we go. The Dravik, look at that thing. The Dravik, but of course 58% average win rate for the player. BlackRock, same thing, 62% average win rate for the player. These are some of the Seal Clubbing tanks. Seal Clubber, not owned by many, the Charlemagne, etc. Hurricane. So if we go tier 11, the BlackRock is there, like we talked about, and then the rest of them are not really that high. And the Jackal is the highest one. But again, better players playing it, so always pay attention to the average player win rate. The Breaker, BZ, Stir, so those are win rates, but now let's look at popularity. KR1, 803. Teschenrat. Contrivers, the least popular. Object 432U, Imbatable. I think I've seen just about all of these tanks in game. I don't remember seeing the BZ-79. I'm sure I saw it. It probably, the difference between BZ-79 and 75 is sometimes hard to tell on the lists and what they look like and all that. Yeah, Lee Fan, man, I'm just about be done. All right, Dutton. Take care, man. Yeah, I'm going to get going here. I just wanted to look at the quick stats here, and that's kind of what it's looking like. They're not really blowing things up. In fact, if we go tier 8 or tier 11 and 10, and look at the Type 5 has crept up to 53, so obviously overbuffed. Then the Foch B That's an interesting one to me. And then we've got the third highest tech tree of 10 and 11 is the Jackal. Hori 3. These are tier 10s. Where's the next 11? You got to go all the way down to the Breaker before you see another one. So, there you go. There you go, fellas. We've been at it 2 hours. I'm going to get going because I got a Sunday to get to. All the things. All the things. I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Let's find somebody to raid. You know, overall, as far as 2.0 goes, not bothered really. There's some good stuff that I'm actually enjoying. So, grinding tier 10s to 11. I like the grind. I enjoy having a goal. I will eventually grind the tier 10s to the 11, especially the ones I don't have 100 battles on. Those will be the first ones. We'll eventually get there and start playing tier 11 a little bit. I do have the Bork and Coffer. I do enjoy the garage situation for setting up playlists. That's good. I'm not a super fan of the magic powers. So far, I haven't noticed them being a big deal, but it's a tier 11 tank. So if you're in a 9 or a 10, it's got an advantage on you. It's going to beat you up. Unless you're just amazing. And maybe you're amazing. I don't know. I appreciate the subs, guys, and the follows. Much appreciated. Make sure you're doing your watching the stream so you can get your points. It's in the depot. And you're getting your coins. Make sure you're getting those things. I failed to get 15. I don't know how many total are available, but I did miss 15 of them. So I might not get to the tier 8 premium situation. If you have those tanks, remember you have to sell them. You can sell them and then re-buy them or re-get them with the coins, and you can get the silver out of it. Let's find somebody to raid here. What Blaster Yoda? He's got some kind of weird hat on. Or is that hair? I'm not sure what's going on there, but we're going to raid him. Blaster Yoda. There he is. All right, fellas. Appreciate you coming by. Thanks for the subs. Thanks for the follows. Thanks for the chat. Enjoyed it. Good little... Hey, can't tell if that's a hat or hair, but... Don't know. Have a fantastic rest of your weekend, and we'll see you next week. Next week... I don't know if it's next week or the next. I think next week starts Scout Week. We're going to do 2 weeks, actually, of Scout Week. I may say Scout Week in the first videos, but what I mean is 2 weeks. We're going to talk Scouts for a couple weeks. Have a great one. See ya.